They put in her windscreen, and she's over 60 odd years of age, so she's quite traumatised by it. And these are the things that are happening in our parks. And what we would like is some security in our parks. We would like some form of, or somewhere where we could redress this problem, because we just feel absolutely helpless. We watch children and mothers diving out of the road with prams and so on, that they can't even walk up the pathways of our park. So we would like something done about that.
I don't know if you heard, but we had an experience earlier today in Waterworks Park that these two gentlemen in the back were directly involved in. There was a little event put on. Some of the school children came. The point was to introduce them to Matt Simmons over here, one of our rangers, and tell them what it is that our park rangers do back in New York, and maybe to entertain them a little bit. While we were standing there, minding our business, enjoying the park with the children, a motorcycle entered the park. Two kids were on it, and they came, do you know the lower pond in Waterworks Park? They were on the far side of the pond on the path. They passed one of the local residents, a gentleman, I would say, you mentioned the woman who was 60, he was probably 70 something. And he admonished the riders of the motorcycle, who decided to greet him with an international gesture, and then proceeded to motor along, not heeding his warning at all.
We are members of Divis Bowling Club. The facilities in use every day of the week. Very important to all the citizens of the Falls Road, and we find that we can't use the park the way it should be used because of the vandalism in the park.
At night there, when the men are playing their matches during the summer, they get bottles thrown over into the green on top of them. And when some of the men run up and try to get rid of the boys, then they all sit out there and drink. Now we have alcoholics who are in this park all the year round. They never annoy any of the bowlers in any one way. But we do get the young people coming in at night and abuse this park terrible, and abuse the bowlers out there on the green. And I think it should give us more security in our park to protect the older people. I mean, we need that security. I have to say, Tom Hartley has done an awful lot to improve our park here. And they put up this new pavilion for us. And it is a good park. We all sit here and gather every day together here as a community of women. Every year we run something for our charity. So we're not just useless old people sitting about. We love our bowls, we enjoy our bowls.
The first thing I saw when I entered this park, we were here actually yesterday and we came back today, there's graffiti on the park wall as you enter. One of the things that we've done very successfully in New York is to fight graffiti. And to me it's very important, and it's the first thing that I would encourage the Belfast City Council to take on, because it's a fight that can be won, and it's a simple order to the maintenance people. That's what we did. It was this: when you come to work in the morning, by 10 o'clock that same morning, if there's any graffiti in your park, you will have removed it or painted over it by 10 o'clock in the morning. Now that eliminates the incentive that the vandals have to paint the graffiti in the first place. They're looking to make their names eternal. They want it up there for months for the entire neighborhood to admire. Well, if it's gone the next morning, what's the point? Better find someplace else where I can have a more permanent memorial Isn't the city cemetery right down here?
People are afraid to come into the park. People with young children. There was one day my husband and I were walking through the park, and this young lad, they were playing football, and this young lad fell on a bottle, a beer bottle, and that lad was sliced open to there on that beer bottle. You know, children are coming in, the dogs are running everywhere, they're doing what they have to do, and the children's playing on top of all that. You know, that all has to, I think, needs to be taken care of.
I would like to see more improvement on this facility of our green, which is the most important thing to our game, is the green that we play on, and we would like to see more attention, more work given to it, and really, at one time we had a beautiful green here, but at the moment it's just a disaster, and we would like to see an improvement in that.
The women here and the men are just great, and the men, gentlemen out there, like, they'll be sitting out there and they're playing the bowls and they're having a laugh, and it's a great community. I would be lost without if I hadn't to come here.
Well, I believe that the youth of this area and wider field are the lifeline to the parks. If we get them educated and get them to buy into the concept that the park belongs to them, then hopefully that'll have a knock-on effect in relation to the antisocial activities as them kids grow on. The sports facility has been brilliant. It has brought in soccer coaches. Gaelic sports has been played now all year round in it, and we have seen an increase in the amount of people who are now coming from schools looking to play in these facilities.
I grew up in New York City and we spent a lot of time in the parks. The parks near where I lived were very nice. And I know that that's not the case. This was in the 1970s. I know that the parks across the city were not in good shape. But through it's really an active community. And why we're dealing with the Friends of the Waterworks here. Very nice people, clearly dedicated, and that's really what it takes. You have to have, it's the community. I keep telling people over and over again, you can bring in as many park rangers as you want, but you really need partnership with the community, because we can only do so much. You can bring in, well, maybe, I guess you could bring in 100 park rangers, maybe it'd be okay, but I know it's not going to happen. But if you have one person or two people assigned to a park, they can't be everywhere at once, and you need to know that the community is with you and that they're working to keep things in order as well. Because if the people believe that the park should be a certain way, you raise the standard, and everyone wants to keep it that way. And you need to have the community there. Without the community, it can't be done.
I have my own family, for their children, for my nephews and nieces, and for all the people that I know. I grew up here. This is my play. This is where I grew up and played, and this is my adventure playground, if you like, along with a load of other guys that I went to school with. And I mean, really, we want it back to the way it was and be used the way it was.
The earnestness of what the people here are trying to do, the careful planning that they're putting in. I mentioned inside when I spoke to the people how impressed I was by the Belfast open space strategy. Enormous good work has been done here by enormously good people. The kind of people that I would love to have back home working with me. You've got some wonderful parks here in Belfast. The horticulture is magnificent. We've been to the Waterworks, we've been to Falls Road, we've been here in Cave Hill, we've been down to the Botanic Garden. And it's an overwhelmingly positive experience for us.